Yes.
Thank you, nice.
Looking fresh. Yeah, welcome, welcome. All right, so Lagos. What's not fresh is the stock markets. It's still opened the month of September down by 0.03%. We are at 34,837 points. So far, the market this year, the market is down by 8.9%. We had 19 gainers and 18 losers. Very interesting. NPF Microfinance Bank was the only non-insurance company in the top five. So the top gainer was Consolidated Hallmark Insurance. They're up by 10%. Second place was ICO Insurance. Third place was Continental Reinsurance. Fifth place was WAPIC. I think this might have to do with the whole recapitalization exercise that's going on. So certain people are taking positions in insurance companies. So, be on the lookout as far as where that's going. Top loser, and they were down by 10% at 45 cover. We're still at 361 odd naira to the dollar. So Bunmi, the money market, I was talking to you off air. My mother called me yesterday and complaining about how her 3-month T-bills have fallen to single digits and what's going on. So what are we seeing in the money market
in the
space?
Money market? Okay, let me start from liquidity.
Yes,
and
please.
We'll come back
Yes.
to securities.
All right.
Okay, so the local money market was quite liquid last week. We opened with about 366 billion, closed with about 422 billion. Okay. What accentuated liquidity in the system included inflows from about 300 from the excess transferred to CBN from banks for the last retail FX auction, about 360. Liquidity actually got to a high of about 780 billion towards Thursday, which actually ideally should have been a trigger for CBN to sell OMO, because they would be trying to mop up all the excess liquidity. And they actually did float an OMO, but eventually turned out a no sale result. So rates plunged, that's OBB and overnight rates, plunged from a high of about 16% to about 3% on Thursday. Eventually OBB and overnight rates closed at about 6%, only because the market was funding for the retail FX auction, another one on Friday, which took out about 350 billion as well, which served to moderate rates at the close. There was an NTB auction as well, 206 billion on offer, and that same amount was sold. So it had very little impact on liquidity. This week we expect FAC to come in. It actually did come in yesterday. The government approved, or the committee approved 740, but eventually 48% of that came into the system. That's about 340. We also expect a normal maturity on Thursday, about 249 billion supposed to hit the system. So it's a pretty. So
we're going to have another liquid market again.
I imagine OBB and overnight rates to trade sub 3%, except CBN issues OMO to take some of the liquidity and bring rates back.
To help out, this is the OBB is cost of borrowing. Just the rates of it go down. All right, cool. All right.
Okay.
Securities? Okay, cool.
So the highlight for last week on securities was actually the auction. The 12.3% and 10.56%.
Folks that have to buy in. Yes. Let's just.
That's important.
My mom does not have
and has been for close to 5 months. People that trade securities observe the results. It was an indication to CBN authorities were tightening, were changing their stance. So most traders in the bond and the T-bills market began to sell long.
Government savings bond is now open. It opened yesterday. It closes on the 7th, which is on Friday. So you can actually they're offering two bonds here, the 2-year savings bond at 11.3% and the 3-year savings bond at 12.3%. So the 2-year savings bond, that one is due when they pay back your principal. It's due on the 12th of September 2020, which is 2 years from now. And then the 3-year bond is due 12th of 2021, which is 3 years from now. So it's a minimum of 5,000 naira, which is the minimum for you to buy into this bond. The maximum is 50 million. So what happens is your coupon payments are made every 3 months. So if you were to invest in this bond this week, you would get your first coupon payment on December 12th. this 12 is the magic number here. So December 12th, March 12th, June 12th, and September 12th is when you would get your coupon payment. So a perfect example, if you were to invest, say, 1 million naira in the 3-year bonds, 12%, your interest is 120,000 naira. They will break that 120,000 over those 4 coupon payments. So you get 30,000 naira every 3 months till the bond get some savings. So Ayodeji and those that are interested, you can hop into the and in fact, I think this is actually increased from the August offer, because in August they were offering 10 and 11%, and now here in September it's 11 and 12. So that's something you guys can get into. Bunmi, shall we discuss international trade, bilateral deals?
Yes.
Our dear president is, I think today is the final day of his
visit to China.
His visit to China. He's in Beijing with a number of people. They signed a massive, should I call this a deal? It was how much?
$328 million.
$328 million, and I think it's an ICT deal, Abi?
Yes, it's to lay fiber optic cables across geopolitical zones.
I mean,
it's supposed to go across Akwa Ibom, Enugu, Imo, Anambra, Rivers, Ondo, Ugu, Delta, Edo, Lagos, Benue, Nasarawa, and Abuja.
That is massive. That's from the southwest, middle belt, all the way to the north. So again, the thing though here is that the companies that are laying this fiber optic network are both Chinese companies, yes?
Yes.
Huawei, and I can't remember the name of the other company.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Huawei must be there now. There's been some concerns, I believe, about this particular agreement. Our dear former Minister of Education, Madam Antiobi Ezekwesili, was ranting on Twitter yesterday about this. What was he ranting about? What was the subject of her rant?
She has an issue with our continuous borrowing, and I agree with her, because we're not even borrowing from people that are a little bit flexible with repayments. We're borrowing from China. China that we know is very non-concessionary in terms of loans. China that when they do give you loans, they usually skew the agreements to suit them.
Right.
You will see that for Chinese loans, they will usually, for the contracts, if they're building, they will give those contracts to Chinese companies.
Yeah.
They will bring their workers to Nigeria. The workers will be the ones to build. So there will be no transfer of knowledge. Employment that you should see because we are constructing or infrastructure is being built will not happen. You know, so that's the problem with borrowing from the Chinese. It's a good opportunity to, improve infrastructure, but these are the things that we want to consider when we're doing that. And you know, the other thing that I noticed about this story is I was wondering, in fact, initially when I read the story, I was happy. I was like, perhaps internet will reach my house.
Right.
You know, but then I see that it's for the ministries and department agencies for the government.
Right.
So we're borrowing $328 million to increase connectivity between ministries, you know, and I just envisioned the people in the ministry Googling more, observing the internet more, you know.
Right.
And to me, that means that it's an expense to the government, you know. Just imagine if they were saying that apart from the ministries, I'm sure the reason they're doing this for the ministries is probably to improve efficiency, and if this trickled down to productivity and revenues, then it's fine.
Yeah.
But just imagine if you could increase connectivity, or you could give data and internet to airports, to hospitals, to schools, to corporates, to you and I, and we would pay for it.
Right.
Then this loan would then be self-liquidating because the revenues that you get from charging people, I'm sure you would pay a little extra to get continuous and reliable data in your home.
Yeah.
That income, that revenue could then serve to service the loan that we're taking from China. So I'm optimistic. I'm assuming that the writer of this story just left that part out and it will still get to us. But I mean, if it's only for the government agencies, then I think
doesn't really help us.
Yeah, maybe they forgot. They forgot that part of the story. We've got a few messages very quickly. Henry Manuel says, "Okay, Rotus. So my mother called me yesterday to accuse me of giving her the worst investment advice ever, which was to hold her GTB. Her broker had advised her to sell in March, and I said no. She was vexing about the capital depreciation. Never mind the fact that she actually received dividends."
Henry, a good man. Tell her to hold on. That's a blue chip stock, and she needs to hold on to her GTB.
comes back in to say, listen, how liquid is the savings bond practically? He says, especially if you don't want to hold to maturity.
It's going to be traded on the stock exchange. So if you want to sell it, that's completely fine. You can do that as well.
And Ugo from VI says, at least Argentina and Venezuela have lights.
I don't think Venezuela
not anymore.
Venezuela doesn't have lights.
So Ugo, let's calm down now. It's still better small.
All right, real quick. Follow what? We have a minute.
Yep.
should we talk about the other deal they signed in Germany, or talk about the CAC? Which one?
Oh, the CAC.
Okay, real quick. Our CAC.
Feel good news.
Feel good news. All right. So what's happening with the Corporate Affairs Commission? What are they
They're
doing?
saying that you can incorporate a business in, at least they're working towards incorporating a business within 6 hours.
6 hours.
From 24 hours to 6 hours.
Yeah.
If they're able to accomplish this, I think
Amen.
it's great. It's great. They're trying to reduce the cost as well from
Right.
10,500 to 5,500. They haven't done this yet, but they're saying they're working towards this.
Good stuff. So they're trying to reduce the cost of registering a business and also reduce the time it takes to register. Again, it's an announcement, so we'll see whether it happens.
Yep.
Bunmi, it's been great having you.
Thank you.
Great. Henry Emmanuel, you're a good man. Tell your mom to hold that GTV. And thank you guys for your messages as well.
Thank you very much, guys. I know this 6 hour is just as concerning,
You know?
actually. But Lagos, do keep listening, though. Coming up next, we give you more interesting information. Of course, great entertainment. It is Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1.
With the experts.
Yeah, I know, but it's the way time flies.